2 days is a very special holiday, Tu B'Shvat. It's going to be this year Wednesday night and Thursday day. Tu B'Shvat is a holiday that usually gets pretty ignored on the calendar because, all the other holidays something big happened. Hanukkah we were saved by a miracle. Purim we were saved by a miracle. Pesach we were saved by a miracle. All holidays we were saved by a miracle. Here nothing really miraculous happened and we're just celebrating some figs and dates. But if the holidays on the calendar must be that it's much more than just eating dried fruit. And the thing is that I gave enough classes in the past explaining about Tu B'Shvat, but today I want to talk about the opportunity that Tu B'Shvat brings with it. In one way to describe the opportunity of Tu B'Shvat is new beginnings. That's how the holy books describe it. Hatchalot Chadashot. Many times in your life, you go through a certain situation in your life, wears you out completely. You don't know how to get out of the situation, but when the opportunity comes to get rid of the situation and to start a new beginning, then you jump on the opportunity, you dream on that opportunity, you're waiting for the opportunity to start a new beginning. A new job, a new city, a new spouse, whatever it is. Sometimes you had it up to here with your life and you wish I could start a new job. I wish I could move to a new city. I wish I could have a new start. So Tu B'Shvat is the day of new starts. Interestingly, the acronym of the word Shvat is, and again, this is probably somebody found it, made a connection, but it's not set in stone. Shvat is the acronym Sheyeh Besorot Tovot. It should be good news. So the teachings of Kabbalah explains that the month of Shvat, but particular on the 15th of Shvat, is a time of Hitchadshut. Hitchadshut means new beginning. I was trying to think of a different word, but let's call it a new beginning or rejuvenation. Now, today what I want to explain is how the mystical part of the holiday works in regards to anything energetically in this world and how is that affecting me. Because right now, in our situation, hard to find one individual or two or three that can tell you, I know the world is a mess right now, but my life is fine. I mean, I'm not now licking my fingers all day long from honey, but life is okay. So there's a few options. Option number one, very healthy and good attitude, that even the negative doesn't seem that bad, and okay. Another option is that in cycle of life, one time you're up and one time you're down. And sometimes you're up for 10 years and then you're down for 2-3 years and up for 10. So it could be now that everything's good, you're in the up. So everything is kind of working well. But the reality is that most people, given the opportunity, will ask or want a new beginning for something that bothers them in their life. And listen, as a whole, we want a new beginning. We want the redemption. That's a new beginning. We're fed up with the state of the exile. We had enough. So we want a new beginning. Geula is a new beginning. So what's important to understand before we continue is how spiritual things work in the world above, how they're affecting the world below, and how is that affecting me. So we're going to touch a little bit of topics from the teachings of Kabbalah. And with that, I'm going to explain that one of the ways that the supreme light is being revealed in this world, I'm not talking right now Or Ganuz, that's a whole different thing. That's a hidden light that was used to create the world, to sustain the world. And it's, as it says, Ganuz, it's hidden, it's not available. But there is another spiritual light. It's called the Or Elyon, the light that either you can translate it as the supreme light, or I would actually rather explain it as, instead of a supreme light, is the light that is above. What is it above? Whatever is beneath it. Elyon is above it, superior. One of the many ways that this light gets revealed, and don't imagine it as light coming from a light bulb, it has no resemblance to a light from a light bulb. Rather, from the word in Hebrew, light is or, and or comes from the same root of he'ara, an enlightenment, a shine. So this godly light, this exalted light that we're referring to, will have a few different ways how it can be revealed in this world. And one of them, which is the most common one, is time. In the world above, there's no time. That's a concept that our physical mind cannot understand. How can the past, present, and future run simultaneously at the same time? As we know with Hashem, Hayah, Hoveh, V'yeh, was, is, will be. How can it be that Hashem lives the past, present, and the future at the same time when we can't, not only we can't relate with it, it cannot happen in this world. So again, one of the ways that this godly light is revealed in this world is through time. And every time or every moment has a certain energy. I'm sure you know it, but more than that, feel it, that every day has a different energy. Not only every day has a different energy, every hour, every moment has a different energy. Quick example, you're sitting now in this room, it's nice and warm, cozy, good energy, nice people, learning Torah, good refreshments. The energy is light and happy. You go out, and you can go into another sitting, another store or whatever, where people are angry there, screaming at each other, and the energy suddenly changes, suddenly, whoa, it's not such a pleasant energy. Somebody's angry next to you, you don't want to sit next to them. Whether you saw them screaming a minute ago or not, the energy of the angry person, so you understand what I'm saying? Every moment in time has a different energy. So let's backstep again. When the godly light, this amazing light, needs to be dressed in something in this world, then one of the major ways is through time. Technically, when you're thinking of it, if it's getting dressed in through time, and time doesn't stop, then how would I benefit from this light? Because the time keeps moving. But that's a whole different thing to ponder. But to focus on what we're talking here, if you want to meditate on what I just said, then you sit for a few seconds quietly, and best in front of a clock, because I'm looking now at the clock, and the clock says 135107, right? 151 and 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm sorry, I can't track the time because it keeps moving. Now every one of these seconds has a total different energy. Some of the energy you can control, some of the energy you have no control over it. But the fact is that every moment in time has a different energy. How that energy comes about, we're going to talk about it. Now, I have to suit myself or align myself to the light that is shining while it's shining if I want to connect to it. Okay? I'll say it again. I need to adjust myself according to the light. It's not that the light gets adjusted to me. So to give you one example out of many, I want to stand outside in the sun to get some good vitamin D, then I will stand where the sun is hitting me. Few minutes will pass, the sun moves. So I don't get the same angle. What do I need to do? I need to adjust myself according to where the sun is when I want to benefit from the sun. Okay, example one. Example two, every place that you go, you're looking for Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi doesn't look for you. You're looking for the Wi-Fi. You arrive in a restaurant, in a business, whatever. What's the Wi-Fi? Now you need to look for the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is there. When you leave, the Wi-Fi is still there. You need to look for the Wi-Fi, adjust yourself to the Wi-Fi, then you can benefit from the internet. So going back to what I'm explaining, I need to adjust myself according to the light if I want to benefit from it. And if the light is shining for 24 hours, because it's Shabbat, different energy, then I need to adjust myself to the light on Shabbat by not doing certain actions. And if there's a certain holiday, Pesach, Sukkot, I need to adjust myself according to the light. If I do not adjust myself according to the light, I do not put myself under the light, then I'm not going to benefit from it. It's very simple. It's almost like there's a place that tells you we give out food and money for your expenses for Shabbat. You have to come every Thursday from 12 to 4, stand in line, bring your ID, bring this form, and bring this thing. If not, you're not going to get the food or the money. You need to adjust yourself to my demands to get the light that you need. Is that correct? That's it. When I need something, I need to to benefit from something that will give to me some type of benefit, I need to adjust to that. That's it. If I work otherwise, it's not going to work. That's it. And this is my way with everything. I want to get along with my wife, I need to adjust to her. She doesn't need to adjust to me. Okay? That's another problem in relationships, that I think that everybody needs to dance to my tune. But nobody needs to dance to my tune. I need to be patient to everybody else's tunes. That's it. Now, when it comes to this godly light, and again, it's hard for us to sometimes relate with this godly light. That's why I gave you the example with the Wi-Fi, because it's something that we need, but we don't have to. Some things we actually need. Wi-Fi, I don't really need. But I gave that example only because it's something that we constantly depend on. You need it to function in certain things. And it's something that is common to us to understand. You can relate with, okay, the Wi-Fi is here. When we leave this room, the Wi-Fi will stay here, by the way. And it will still be projecting the signal. If something gets attached to it, the Wi-Fi doesn't care. It's not that the Wi-Fi starts, I have a user. It's just projecting the data, and that's it. The exact same thing. This godly light that comes down to this world, it doesn't come down as light. You have to erase the concept and imagine it coming down as light. It's not light, L-I-G-A-T, that you see from a light bulb or from the sun. It's a he'ara, an enlightenment. How could it be that you're sitting in your home and suddenly, let's go and eat pizza? Why did it just came to you that second? Now, I'm not talking about a person that invents something. That's a whole different he'ara. But why are we concentrating on that? That's a he'ara. I gave a very ridiculous example with, let's go and have pizza. But that's a very small he'ara. Why do you suddenly want to do something? Why? What's this inspiration? Let's go see a movie. I want to go to Thailand for 2 weeks. Why not to Greece and you're going to Thailand? These are all he'arot. And again, we're not in the class now to explain what's a he'ara. I'm just explaining a little bit that you understand a little bit the concept. So almost anything that shines in this world that comes as an idea or a new concept or something in that respect, let's call it now a he'ara, a shine. And this can be in a very low level, and this can be in a level that will concern the entire world. Another example that I want you to understand, I'll give you another example. A man has a wife, they have a little bit of an argument, a fight, or a bad time that they're not getting along so much. From deep within comes the he'ara, I want to buy her something. I want to spoil her. I'm going to do something to make her understand really what I feel. That's also a he'ara, that a thought, an idea comes up. With that said, now that you understand a little bit what it means to shine, and by the way, the he'ara, I'm talking constantly coming from above. The he'ara is contagious, okay, in a positive way. Because I can come up with a certain he'ara and you are affected and you are inspired and you are inspired and so forth. Now, to make a long story short, there are three types of he'arot, okay? And again, I choose to explain and translate because the translations never work well. He'ara, like I told you, the translation is to shine. But the explanation is that you inspire, that you turn on, okay? And everything that I just told you in the last 5-10 minutes. With that said, we have to understand there are three types of he'arot, three types of ways that the world will be affected by this godly light. The first one is called olam. Olam means world. The second one is called shana, which the translation is year, and the third time is nefesh. Third one is nefesh, which is soul. The acronym for that is Ashan. Ashan means smoke. And I'm sure you heard me saying that, I don't know in other places, but the concept of Olam, Shana, Nefesh, I've explained that many times. Three ways how this godly light, this He'ara, comes into this world. The first one, when it's talking about Olam, it's referring to space. Now, not space that NASA tells you that there is. I'm talking about the space here, where I am. Okay? The cup is taking this space. This is my space right now. So I'm not talking about space halal, rather space makom. Okay? That's why Hebrew and English, not so easy to parallel teach it. So the concept of Olam is the place where I am, where you are, and so forth. Every place has a total different energy. And again, some place you go to a Bet Knesset, you go to a shul, has a good, strong, positive energy. You go now to a toilet, has a different energy. But every place in the world has a different energy. The next way how this he'ara can come about is called shana. Shana, the translation is year, but we're talking here about the concept of time. And like I told you before, I just told you the idea about time. That we have to adjust myself, I have to adjust myself to the light that is shining in that time. As a side note, every few months, and in 2 days we'll have another one of those, is that I advertise on my website, my social media and all that, a certain day, a very special day, and I advertise whatever needs to be said and read and inspire people on that day. Read this prayer, right? I'm sure you saw that once or twice. The last one was Rosh Chodesh Tevet, special prayer in Rabbi Meir's tomb, and before that Koach Kislev, the 28th of Kislev. If you remember, every time I'm inventing it. It's just that it's all these days are written in different books. And if you know or have access to this information, then you know, okay, today is a very special day. I have a student, follower, friend, and he tells me, I don't watch all these long videos. I can't sit and watch all these long videos. I just follow you because you tell me whenever needs something to be done, you tell me to do it, and I just blindly do it. I get a message on my WhatsApp, today is whatever date it is, something happened, read these 3 Tehillim. I just religiously would read it, and by the way, that's a type of a he'ara. I shine out the information. He gets affected by the information, by the he'ara. Okay? I put out there some type of information, in this respect, a certain prayer in a certain time. If you remember, if you really want to go on the concept of time, you remember I told you on the ninth month, which is Kislev, the ninth day, Tet of Kislev, and the 9th hour. I mean, you had to do here particular calculations. You have 9 minutes to adjust yourself to the time. Usually it's 1 day, half a day. Here we had 9 minutes. A common question that I get from many people, usually it's more from non-Jews. I think it's harder for them to relate to the Jewish concept that we are bound constantly to time, and if Pesach is on the 14th day of Nisan, It's always. There's no discounts. I think for somebody who doesn't practice Judaism, sometimes it's hard to relate that the time here is extremely important. 1 second later, that's it. Now the day my daughter calls me urgently, quick, I need the credit card. What happened? There's a sale on the website that I like and I can get something now for 60% off. But you just bought a whole order a week ago. Yeah, but this one is 60% off. If I don't do it right now, I lost the deal. And when she called me a few minutes later, it doesn't matter, I lost the deal. The time passed. So here you have an example. The time passed, you lost the deal. So many people ask me when I post about an auspicious time, they're like, some do it in a cynical way, some do it in a mocking way, but what? I need to wait for a certain time for a blessing from God. God needs a certain time. He can't bless me 24/7, 360 days a week, a year. I need to wait for a certain date and stand in a certain angle for the light to shine. Then the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Every moment in time, every fraction of a second in the entire world, imagine somewhere there's sitting a server with billions of frames of pictures just of your life. How many frames are in your life? Let's go with 8 frames a second. Make a calculation. We have probably 30 frames a second. Okay, that's an average. The cameras, they shoot 30 frames a second. You know what I mean? It means 30 pictures a second. That's what the video camera does. That's your life. So you have billions and billions of seconds. One day, you're going to walk into a hall, not with your body, with your soul. And the entire hall would look like Yad Vashem with millions of pictures. And you're going to put one picture after the other, and it's going to be the pictures of your entire life. Ooh, that's why I forgot my... So many people ask me, in regards to particular time, they wonder or question or mock, one, God can't bless me today, He has to wait for that day and for that hour. It has nothing to do with God's power, we're not limiting God. It's the delivery of the light. It has nothing to do with the ability of God. And God is the one who decides about the time, when, who, what. After the world was almost destroyed by the flood, and Hashem says, I will never destroy this world again. Then Hashem added a few more things, a few more details to the world. There wasn't seasons before that. Seasons started after the flood. So Hashem decided, okay, I'm going to divide the year into quarters. And each season will have a certain energy, a certain reason. Going back to the 3 types of Ve'arot, we said Olam is the place, Zman is the time. And what is it called? Shana, which means that every time A has a different energy, B, every moment is a different time. And then the third one is called Nefesh. Nefesh is a soul. Everything has to have a Nefesh, a spiritual power that enlivens it. And that I will less explain right now, but let's continue. Let's focus right now on the place and on the time. When I change the time, whatever happens right away is changing of energy. That's how it works. You look at your watch right now, every second, the minute, the second goes, different energy. But nevertheless, if I change the time completely, then that will cause shinui energia, total different energy. And by the way, this is as a practice, not to what I'm telling you now and what we're learning now. You master this in seconds. If not in a fraction of a second, you can change yourself from being extremely angry. Nothing happened. A second ago, you almost broke the wall from anger. Now, different time, different energy, it's fast. That's it. Okay. With what I explained now that we understand a little bit of the concept, now let's go to the month of Shvat. Shvat, in the teachings of Kabbalah, the title of Shvat is called Shinui. Tzfat, Shvat. Shinui means a change. And like I told you in the beginning, if everything is running well in your life, you're not looking for additions. If things are not running so smooth, you're looking for a change. Right? So we're talking right now about a change. And again, if everything is great in your life, you don't necessarily need to see this video. You need to maybe listen to another one. But everybody needs that part in their life. Now, the shinui, the change that the teachings of Kabbalah refers to, it's called, in Hebrew it's called hitapchut energia. In English would be switching of energy, but not switching, because hitapchut is a switch, but the other way around. You know what I mean? I'll give an example with hitapchut. If this is something flat, I can only turn it like that, right? You see what I'm doing? I can only turn it from here to here. That's one way how I can lehitapech. This is one side, this is the other side. This you can't lehitapech. It's round. You have to turn it around, the listovev. You see the difference? I can't turn it upside down. So, lehitapech is that I expose the other side. Okay? In Hebrew they say, Ma ata mitapech alai. Why are you exposing now the other side? The other side, what you're not revealing. So, and that can be done in a positive way and can be done in a negative way. But nevertheless, the shinui, the change that we're referring to, it's called hitapchut energia. The energy changes. The energy of Shvat, every month has a total different energy. But the energy of Shvat is shinui, is this changing of the energy. That is the core of the energy of Tzfat, of Shvat. Now, and this day, the 15th day of Shvat, is probably one of the most powerful, important, dominating energy that can switch in that time. That's what the teachings of Kabbalah explains. Why? Why specifically the 15th day of Shvat is one of the most powerful days of the year to flip? Now, how many opportunities do you have to take a situation and to, maybe I'm using the wrong word, to flip, to change it completely? Imagine that. That you're stuck in a dead end. Most people are stuck in dead ends. They're not so happy with their place of work, or they're not so happy in their relationship, or they're not so happy with how they look, or anything, whatever. Most people run into a lot of dead ends. And in that dead end, you have no advice. And it can be in many different ways. This is the time you need to think of how you're relating to what I'm saying. I can give you examples, but you have to see how it comes in your life. So again, I'm asking the question, how could it be that on the 15th day of Shvat, on the calendar of the Jewish calendar, the 15th day of Shvat has one of the most powerful energies in the year for a change? Why? What to do? I'll tell you in a second. But why? Why is it not the 17th of Shvat? What if on the 15th day of Shvat I was sick and I couldn't tune myself to the energy? I lost? The answer is yes, you lost. Imagine now, it couldn't happen, but imagine now, at the time of the giving of the Torah, you were not there. You think they would stop the show for you? You missed it. Why? And the reason I'm saying it couldn't happen, because in Matan Torah, the giving of the Torah could not happen if there would be one person missing. So this is not necessarily the example that we should use, but the example that I'm trying to tell you is that, you missed the time, you missed it. And I don't like the comments and messages people send me when I'm limiting the time for a certain prayer. Oh, you're limiting God. God can bless me whenever He wants. Miracles can happen in any given moment. You're right. Hashem can do whatever He wants, whenever He wants, however He wants. But He also set times where it's auspicious times. And if you don't believe in this concept, then stop observing Shabbat. Observe Shabbat on a Thursday. If you don't believe in what I just told you, then you should observe Shabbat once on a Monday and once on a Thursday. Why bother on Shabbat? It's a good day to go out. All the restaurants are open. Beach. I'll do Shabbat on a Sunday. Sounds familiar, no? 2 billion people are saying, I'll do Shabbat on Sunday. It's much better on the calendar. So why the 15th day of Shvat is such a powerful day? is because the main part, the core of growth for anything, it's in its major darkness. I'll say it again in different words. Anything will grow the most growing will come at the time when the object or the person or the situations is in the most darkest situation. That's how it is. I don't invent it. I just read and give it over. Now, what does it mean that the most growth is in the darkest time? First of all, I'm sure you can relate with what I just said without me explaining everything. You see it for yourself. That when we go to the lowest of the lowest, that's when the growth starts, because there's nowhere else to go. You have to reach to the bottom in order for the power of growth to get activated. This is called Yerida Letzorech Aliyah, going down, descending in order to ascend. You can call it however you want, but that's the concept. But let me explain to you what I just told you. In time, there's a concept that is called Ma'agalei Zman, circles of time. Okay? What's a circle of time in your understanding? What do you think would be a circle of time? A day. Right? Every day. Another day. Another day. It doesn't change. That's a circle of time. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. It's a circle. So circles of times usually come in a day, a week, and a year. Sorry, a month and then a year. These are the major circles of time that we are aware of. There are much more circles of time, but we are aware of day, week, month, year. And it repeats itself. And that's why the ultimate, the widest circle of all circles of time is called Shana. That's why I told you before, the three ways of He'ara is Olam, Shana, Nefesh. Shana is the major circle of time because that's when everything gets reset and starts again. And that's why it's called in Hebrew, Shana. Shana doesn't mean year. What it means, Shana? Repeated. Leshanen means to repeat. What is Mishnah? Why is the Mishnah called Mishnah? Because Meshanenim, Mishnayot. You memorize. That's what they do to little kids. They give you one Mishnah, in the Mishnah, 20 words. Chant that now 5,000 times. You'll know the Mishnah off by heart. I'll wake you up in the middle of the night. When you're 94 years old, you'll remember it. Because when you scratch something on the surface, and then you go like that, there's no memory of it. But when you carve it, doesn't matter how much you're going to cover it, you'll never cover the carve. Even if you put cement there, you'll see where it was carved. When something is carved in your brain, it will never leave. So the word Mishnah comes from Lashanen, to repeat. Repeat what you're saying, like chanting it over and over and over, and eventually it becomes part of your memory. So, going back to the circles of time, Shana, it's when everything gets rejuvenated. Okay? Everything gets reset and starts all over again. Like Rosh Hashanah. Now, if we're comparing, and I did that many times to explain other concepts, but since the circles of time, it's the basic rules of creation, because God used these circles of time in the first week of creation. The first day of creation, the second day of creation, Vayachulu Hashamayim v'aretz v'chol tzevam, Shabbat v'inafash, Hashem already set in stones the circle of time that you cannot change. Nobody can come and say, we want to celebrate 8th day, and we're going to call it 8th day. I even have a good name. You can get a domain for that. 8th day. That's the name. And from now on, we don't have any more 7 days in the week. We have 8 days. And I don't want to have 4 seasons anymore. I think we should have 3. Who needs the autumn? Cold. Circles of times you cannot change, because it doesn't matter what you're going to do. You cannot invent something and you cannot change the system because the energy cannot change. Take now all the governments in the world, put them together with all the money in the world, and if they want to invent a day, they cannot, because energetically that day doesn't exist. Saying, in other words, that I explained that this is a known concept in Judaism, that a whole day from morning till the next morning can always be compared energetically to certain times. Where did I introduce this concept in the first time? 7 years ago, I gave a long lecture about the coming of Mashiach and explained the sources that we have that point to us how we know that Mashiach should be coming anytime soon. And I took the 7 days of creation, divided it in days, and came to the calculation when is exactly Mincha of Erev Shabbat in the universe, which that is the time that you have to pray Mincha. And it says in the Zohar that the time that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to pray Mincha Gdola of Erev Shabbat, that's the time when Mashiach is going to come. So we had to calculate when is Mincha of Erev Shabbat. Right? Very simple. Go to the video. It's called Mashiach is Coming. Are you ready? You'll see the calculation with all the information that I gave there. But I took a source in the Zohar that says that the redemption will come and Kadosh Baruch Hu wears his Shabbat clothes and he goes to pray Mincha. Okay, so calculate when is Mincha of Friday evening. Very simple. And we came to the calculation to the hour. Why is that important to know? Because the cycle of a day can reflect on a year, can reflect on a month, or can reflect on a situation. So in many times we compare the cycle of the daily cycle and to a yearly cycle. With a comparison that whatever's in the cycle of a day, we'll find in the cycle of a year. Not the other way around. And just as a side note to explain more clear and to remind you, I'm sure you remember that I told you many, many times in many different classes that why do we have 24 hours a day? It's not because Hashem decided that's a lucky number. It's only because there are 12 combinations of the name of Hashem Yud Kei Vav Kei. And every hour, that combination changes. Starts with Yud Kei Vav Kei, goes to Yud Vav Hey Yud, Hey Vav, and the 4 letters of Yud Kei Vav Kei, 12 combinations. Every combination is 1 hour. When it refers to Yud Kei Vav Kei, it's during the day. And the rest of the other 12 hours corresponds to the name of Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, Ado and Nai, and then that has 12 combinations. Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, Yud Nun Aleph Dalet, Aleph Dalet Yud Nun, 12. No more. So if there's 12 combinations of Yud Kei Vav Kei, 12 combinations of Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, that's your 24 hours a day. That's why there can be 25 hours a day, because there's no more combinations of the letters of the name of Hashem. Since the letters of Hashem change order every hour, we don't see that. But you know how you see that? The color of the sky changes. Every hour, the color of the sky changes. Now, from 7 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, there's light, but the color of the sky is different. Completely different. And not because of the angle of the sun and the location of the clouds. Like you see now, the clouds are moving, we're getting more light. No. It's coming already from the name of Hashem that is responsible for the existence of the world. So there are 12 combinations of Yud Kei Vav Kei, 12 hours in the day. 12 combinations of Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, 12 hours in the night. That's why you have 24 hours a day. And night is dark, day is light. And like that, it's everywhere in everything. And I explained to you, and I'll explain to you again soon, it's exactly the same way. That's why we have 12 months. Because there are 12 combinations of Yud Kei Vav Kei. And I know you're going to ask me about the leap year, about the 13th month. Has the same combination. I'll explain to you another time. When we're going to celebrate next month, Purim Bat Katan, I'll explain to you. But just to continue, as I have a cycle in a day, then we compare it now for a year, which means whatever I will have throughout the day, I will have throughout the year. A dominating cycle in day is that in dawn, the sun goes up, it's up in the sky for a few hours, and it goes down in the same place and repeats itself every day. Sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset. If I'm taking the cycle of sunrise, sunset, and don't forget that every hour that the sun moves, what do we have? Different energy of Yud Kei Vav Kei, right? Every hour, the sun moves. Now let's take that cycle and put it in a year. What do I need to look for in that year? When is the sunrise? Because in the morning, in the day cycle, sunrise is what? 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and it will change. Now I'm moving it to the year. I want to find out when is sunrise? No, where? When? In the cycle of the year. So I'll make it easy for you. I'm not going to let you now try to have good guesses. In the cycle of the year, Pesach is sunrise. Okay? In the 24 hours of the day, when is sunrise? 5:15, 5:40. But nevertheless, take the daily cycle. When does the day start? I mean, the day really starts at Chatzot. But when does the day start? Sunrise. I want to now see it in the year. When is Zricha in the cycle of the year? Pesach. That's it. When is Shkia? When is the sun going down? Tishrei. What I'm telling you now is 700 pages condensed into 2 minutes. So I'm not explaining every little word that I'm teaching you. Everything has explanations, backed up with sources. For example, if you wonder Tishrei, what's the hint that Tishrei is sundown? Sundown is kind of like going backwards, right? Because from when the sun is on the top, once it starts going down, it's doing a reverse energy, right? Diminishing, going down. Tishrei is the letters of the alphabet backwards, right? Taf, Shin, Resh, it's going backwards. So Tishrei is Shkia. So now, I know that in the year, when is sunset in the year? Pesach. Time of... Sunrise. Sorry, thank you. Pesach's time, new energy, spring, everything is great, right? But in regards to the time on the circle, then Pesach is sunrise and Tishrei is sunset. Why is that important for me to know? And in midnight, it's the time of the most powerful rejuvenation point of the day. I don't remember. I think it was. It's on the tip of my mind. The Ben Ish Chai. The Ben Ish Chai says that if you sleep before midnight, 1 hour of sleeping before midnight is like 2 hours of sleeping after midnight. So if you sleep from 9 p.m., 8 p.m. to 11 p.m., it's like you slept 6 hours. According to the Ben Ish Chai, you get 2 hours worth of sleep. Most people go to sleep after midnight. It's like you slept half. You slept 8 hours, you really slept 4 hours. And other different sources. But the Ben Ish Chai says that in the olden days, when would people go to sleep? When the sun goes down. People went to sleep at 6 in the evening and woke up at 4 in the morning. When the tzaddikim wake up? When do the tzaddikim wake up? There's only one word. You're right, midnight. A tzaddik wakes up at midnight to do tikkun chatzot. That is the highlight of the day, is to wake up at midnight, and it's not 12 a.m. Midnight moves all the time. It can be 11:30, it can be 1:45. It goes by not by the clock that you wear. A person, I'm saying tzaddikim, some other people do it. The right way to lead your Jewish life is to go to sleep 7, 8 in the evening when it's dark, sleep a good sleep before midnight, wake up at chatzot. You wake up, you say Tikkun Chatzot, you learn all night, and you lead your day completely different. But why specifically midnight? The teachings of Kabbalah explains, Zman hitchadshut hachi chazak is Chatzot. The time of rejuvenation that is the strongest is midnight. So if Pesach is sunrise and Tishrei is sunset, then when is Chatzot? Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat is Chatzot. And what does that mean? Zman hitchadshut hachi chazaka. The time, the strongest time of rejuvenation. So, in Tu B'Shvat, there's a brand new energy starting. Whether you tune into it or not, if you miss it, next year. But on Tu B'Shvat, a new energy starts of what? Tzmicha v'gdila. Tzmicha means to grow, and gdila is to get greater. I'm maybe translating in not the perfect way, but it's a time for growth and becoming greater, because many times you're already on this level of growth, in the motion of growth, so you grow more. And this is all called hitapchut. Hitapchut means to transform something. I transformed it, the good to the bad, the unpure to the pure. Now comes the $1 million question. How do I tune myself? In 2 days, we're going to have an annual midnight for 24 hours. How do I get connected to the light? Okay. Every month I have told you that, I've taught that. I will repeat myself. Every month has a certain energy. Why? Because it's depending on the tzeruf, on the combination of the letters of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Every month, if you want to bring me my brown siddur from there, I'll show you exactly what I mean. For the ones of you who are praying in a yes, please. For the ones of you who are praying in a Sfarad siddur, then this should be familiar to you. If you go to the Musaf of Rosh Chodesh, you will see in the middle of Musaf of Rosh Chodesh the 12 combinations of Yud Kei Vav Kei and how it's affecting each month. Okay? I don't want to waste the time on the video. For the editing, we'll put it on the video, but I want you to see it. I want you to see, and you won't find it in most of the Sidurim. Happens to be that the Sfarad Sidurim have it, and some other Sidurim will have it too. And I don't want to waste the time. Hold on. Okay. I'm not going to show it on the camera. If you want, come and I'll show you. And the Siddur is a little bit ripped, so just be careful with it. You can see here. You can pass it around. See all the months and all the combination. Here, you don't have to come here. Take it. This is it. You can take it, pass it around, and you can see the month and the combination of the Yud Kei Vav Kei and the combination. No, well, don't worry. We'll edit it. No, don't worry about the camera. We'll edit it all. And I want you here in the room to see it. For the editing, we'll just put it on the video. But if you're looking at this, what I just showed you, you see the month, the combination of Yud Kei Vav Kei, and the combination of Aleph Dalet Nun Yud. Okay. And I did give a class about that. I don't want to repeat myself over and over, but every month of the year has a certain energy because, and only because, of the combination of Yud Kei Vav Kei of that month. And every combination will hint on the type of energy that's going to be in that month. For example, when the order of the name of Hashem is in its order, Yud and then a Hey and then a Vav and then a Hey, that's like what's called Rachamim Gmurim. The most mercy you can get out of Hashem. The month of Nisan is Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's the first month of the year. That's when it starts. And the energy of the month is Rachamim Gmurim. We don't say Rachamim means mercy. We don't say Tachanun. The whole month of Nisan. There's no dinim, there's no judgments on the month of Nisan. Why? Because the energy The easiest way to explain it, and I told you already, I did a long class about that, and I don't remember the title to refer you to that. If I take now a beam of light, imagine now I'm holding now some big flashlight and I'm throwing the beam of light on the wall. When would you see the light? When would you see the light that I'm beaming, that I'm projecting? No, when. Not how, when. No. When would you see the light? Only when it's reflected on a surface. Okay? Take now the same flashlight, go to the street, put the flashlight, you won't see the light. Correct? To that. When would you see the light that I'm projecting? When it's hit the surface. And the surface will throw the light back. That's how you will see the light. Now what's going to happen if I put an obstacle in the light? If it's a big obstacle, I block the light. If it's a smaller obstacle than the size of the light, then the obstacle will create a shadow. This is the light. I'm projecting the light and I put an object. Now I have a shadow here of this object. What's going to happen if I shoot the light through a filter? If it's a filter of color, then what will you see on the wall? The color of the filter. Blue, red, green, whatever I will project. This is a filter. I project light through the filter. If the filter is red, the light that's going to be projected on the wall is going to be a red light. Remember when we were kids, this does not refer to the ones who were born in the 19s and above. You remember the times when we used to go to the movie houses and before the movie started, the light was projecting on the screen and everybody would go like that? That's it. What's going on here in this point? Light is projected on the wall. I am disturbing the light with some type of... no, it was more like that. I was good at that actually. But what's going on here is that an object is disturbing the light to reflect fully on the surface. But the result is that I see now, not the object, the shadow of the object. To the same idea, God is projecting light into the universe. God is called Or Ein Sof. Now there are many different objects on the way that will cause shadows on the reflecting surface, our existence. So if Hashem is projecting His light through the letter of His name, so if I would actually do it, then Yud Kei Vav Kei will be on the reflecting surface, right? But we don't have a reflecting surface. Then the light gets, so to say, shifted according to the combinations of the letter. So the light will affect me. Why? Because of the obstacle that I put between the light and the surface. What's the obstacle between the light and the surface? The name of Hashem. So the energy changes according to the combinations of the letters. Very simple. So the month of Nisan is the beginning of the month where the order of Yud Kei Vav Kei is in the right order. So what do we get? Rachamim Gemurim. You cannot get more mercy than that. Best month to do anything that you need to do to get mercy. And needless to say, very positive energy. Now, the Tikkunei Zohar explains it. By the way, everything that I'm talking to you right now with everything that I showed you in the Siddur is all from the Tikkunei Zohar. So the Tikkunei Zohar says that every month, a certain order of the letters, you're going to find a verse in our text that has that acronym that will tell you the energy of the month. So, for example, the month of Nisan is Yud Kei Vav Kei. We have to find a verse in the Tanakh that the first letter of that, the four-lettered verse is Yud Kei Vav Kei, right? You don't need to do that. It's written in the Tikkunei Zohar. Rabbi Shimon did that for you a long time ago. What's this verse? Its acronym is Yud, Hey, and then a Vav and a Hey. A verse from Tehillim, chapter Tzadik Vav 96, verse 11. Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu is Yud, hashamayim Hey, v'tagel Vav, haaretz, Hey. Yud, and a Hey, and a Vav, and a Hey. You know the verse, we sing it every time when we pray, Yismechu hashamayim, right? Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. What's the idea of Yismechu hashamayim? The heavens should rejoice, and the land, tagel is also another way of rejoicing. Simcha from above and below. So the energy is that simcha and happiness and joy is surrounding you from below and above. Shamayim va'aretz. Okay. Another example out of many, and I'm not going to go through all of them because I told you, excuse me that I don't remember the name of the class, but I gave a long class about that with explaining all the 12 combinations and their verses. I think it's in the Tshuva boot camp. I think. Anyways, another combination of the month of Tammuz. And why am I saying Tammuz? Because Nisan is the best combination. All the letters are in order. Tammuz, it's the other way around. Tammuz has the worst energy of the year. Not Av. People think Av is a bad month. No, Tammuz is the worst month in the year energetically. The order of Tammuz is Hey Vav Hey Yud. Everything is the other way around. When do things don't work well? When things are, when things are the other way around. Tammuz, the energy is completely opposite. Now what's going to happen? Since the energy is like that, then the light shining in the world will be exactly like that. It's not a month we get married. It's not a month you do big business deals. First of all, we're fasting not fasting, but we're mourning half the fast from the month, from Yud Zayin Tammuz till Tisha B'Av. If you're looking at the order of the letters, Hey and a Vav and a Hey and a Yud, let's go back to what the Tikkunei Zohar says. We need to find a reference, a verse that has the letters. Where do we find this verse? In the Megillah of Esther, chapter 5, verse 13. It says, Ze eneno shaveli. Translation first, all this is worth nothing to me. How do we find that verse? Because the Sofei Otiyot, Ze eneno shaveli, is Hey, Vav, Hey, Yud. The combination of Tammuz. In the book of Esther. Completely afuch. Everything is completely the other way around. That was what Haman wanted to do. That's the C, the most power of the klipa. When everything is afuch, everything the Kadosh Baruch Hu created in the world has a polarity. Ze l'umat ze bara Elokim. Which means that the further away you go from the polarity, you go to a Moshe Rabbeinu, then the polarity is a Bil'am HaRasha. So the polarity will move as both sides are moving. Tammuz, the polarity is like the complete worst of everything. It's called Sia Klipa V'Adinim. The Klipa and the Dinim are the most strongest in Tammuz. And where can you, how can you compare that energetically to a person's behavior? Which is extremely important, is when a person, the Hebrew term is bo'et batova. The English is that when you spit in the well where you drink from. That's in Hebrew, it's not bo'et batova. Bo'et means to kick, tova is when I do something good to you. I could do something good to you and you kick me. It's kind of like spitting in the well where you drink from. That's energetically, when you do that would arouse Sia Klipa. Okay? And I'm telling you that as a side note, not what we're now learning. Sia Klipa, listen, we're all stuck in the Klipa. In some places, a Klipa behid gabrut. The Klipa is very, very powerful. It will affect you to be very depressed, very confused, very sad, very, very, very. But in many of the cases, when the Klipa goes the strongest, because don't forget that the Klipa is controlled on a leash by God. The same way that you're carrying very big, vicious dogs, you don't carry them with a regular leash. You're carrying with a leash that when they pull, it chokes them, like a choker, right? That's what Hashem does to the Klipa. He holds the Klipa. When they try to move too much, they get choked. But when Hashem lets go, then the Klipa is free to do whatever it wants. Sia Klipa is Tammuz, But in something personal in my life, I'm just telling you that as a side note, is when you bo'et batova. Hashem does something good to you, and you spit in the well where you drink from. And we all do it all the time. Hashem comes up, helps us, brings us to a situation, and instead of being grateful and humble, we complain and whine and definitely not appreciative. So that's, I'm saying as a side note, something that you need to apply in your life. So going back to the combinations of all the months, like I told you, Tammuz is the worst. Why? The Klippa is most strongest. Now, let's go now to the month of Shvat. The month of Shvat starts opposite, Hey Yud. That's not how we want to start it. The start is Yud Hey, not Hey Yud. Shvat starts with Hey Yud. Doesn't start so good. And every time the Hey is in front of a Yud, that's Din. That's judgment. Dinim. I told you already that I think, somebody asked me that on Shabbat. I don't know why people think that I know, but I can give an opinion. I don't know. Somebody asked me on Shabbat, no, what do you say? The Gula is coming with Chesed or with Din? You're asking me, what do you think? I'm on the board of the cabinet of Hashem, who's how the Gula is coming? If you're asking for my personal opinion, of course it's coming with Dinim. It's not going to come, hopefully not. Hopefully I'm wrong. But the way it looks, it's coming down with dinim, with judgments, strong judgments. I said 4 years ago, the David HaMelech says to us, Yemei shnotenu 70 shana ve'im bigvurot 80 shana. The days of our life are 70 years, but bim bigvurot 80 shana. I took it out of context and I said, we were last decade in the years of Ain, Tafshin Ain. That's the 70s. Now we're in the 80s, Tafshin Pei. David HaMelech says, if we're going to go into the 80s, im bigvurot 80 shana. So the whole Pei is going to be gvurot. We are now in a decade of gvurot. And in case you haven't noticed, that's gvura. It's coming with din. So Shvat starts with din. Hey Yud. But the other side of Shvat is Vav Hey. Switches completely. Starts Hey Yud, but ends with Vav Hey. It flips in the middle of the month. The letters of Shvat, I told you, is Hey Yud Vav Hey. So half the month, the wrong direction, going in the wrong direction, not good. You'll go into the wrong direction and you're going to have a frontal accident. But the month in Tu B'Shvat completely switches it to the right order of complete mercy. Yud Hey. What is the verse of the acronym of Shvat? Why are you not asking that? I told you the verse for Kislev is Yismecho Shamayim V'Tegel Haaretz, right? The verse for Tammuz, Ze Eneno Shaveh Li. What's the verse for Shvat? Why aren't you asking what's the verse? I told you already, Tikunei Zohar says, from the verse you know the energy of the month. So the verse of Shvat, Hamer Yamirenu Vehayahu. This can be found in the book of Vayikra, chapter 27, verse 33, referring to Masrot. I don't know how to say Masrot in English. Tithing. Thank you. How? Tithing. It's referring to the Masrot. It doesn't matter the context right now. But let me tell you the translation of the verse. And why this? Because the order of the letters of Shvat is Hey, Yud, Vav, Hey. The verse, Hey, Hamer, Yud, Yamirenu, Vav, Vehaya, Hey, Hu. That's the verse. What's the translation? It's referring to if I have... Let me explain to you the concept. I am a farmer. We have Bet HaMikdash. I need to give maaser from everything that I have. From my animals and from my crops. Let's say I have a lot of sheep. Okay? I have 10 sheep. I need to give 1 sheep for maaser. I put that sheep aside. Okay? The way to do it is to paint the sheep. To put a painting on it. That's maaser. Now this sheep is holy. You're not allowed to touch the sheep. It's a maaser, I have to give it to Bet HaMikdash. How is about if I notice that I chose a less of a good sheep and I see another one that is better? and I want to switch the sheep because that one is the better one. I want to give the better one. But this one is already holy. I already made the separation. It's kadosh. You can't do anything with it. Then this verse comes and says, Hamer yamerenu v'ayahu. You can switch and the holiness will jump on the new sheep. Okay? That's the concept. The translation. And if he does replace it, then both he offered are holy. What do you take from this verse for the month of Shvat? I took the first part of the month of Shvat and replaced it. If he does replace it, then what happens? Then both are holy. Then the whole month is holy. The whole month is a change. I took the whole month, I took the negative of the Hey Yud, and I switched it into Vav Hey, and I changed the whole month now, I changed it. Excuse me. The secret of the month of Shvat, in Hebrew I'll read it to you and then I'll translate, Lachlif dinim. That's it. Switching the judgments. Up until that day, I can switch. So in 2 days, I have the ability to take all the dinim, the judgments prior, and change them. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What do I change them for? Bitcoin, what do you want instead of the dinim? What do you change them from? Chasadim. That's it. If you do it the right way, you get the chasadim in Pesach. Sunset, sunrise. I told you that last year in the class about Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat is when everything starts. Okay? We have 2 months now. This year we have three months. I'll explain next month why we have the third, how it's responding to everything that I told you now. Now it's not the time. But we have now 2 months till Pesach. Now this year, 3 months till Pesach. Where I can change everything. Now, let's continue. If you question yourself, what is not good with dinim? Okay? I'll ask you to do different. And dinim means judgments. What is better, chesed or din? What do you prefer, chesed or gvura? Everybody says chesed, right? I prefer gvura. Gvura is much better than chesed. The ultimate chesed is gvura. And I told you that already. Chesed is very great. But without gvura, your chesed is destructive, is worthless. That's Avraham Avinu. Unconditional chesed. Sarah had to come and be din. No. Garesh et ha'ama hazot mikan. Get rid of this woman, Hagar, I'm referring to. Sarah was din. Chesed is great, kindness is great, but without gvura, without din, the chesed is worthless. Really, when you're looking at it, what is more important is gvura. Okay? If you're looking at Hashem, Hashem is ish chesed, but you'll find in many more references that Hashem is gvura. Okay? Avo b'gvurot, Hashem Elokim, right? It's the first in Tehillim. We want the gvurot. The only thing is, what we need to do is to sweeten them. Gvura is good. I'm very gvura, husband, father, teacher, everything is much better. Because if you know how to control your gvura, then it's the ultimate chesed. I'm a very tough gvura father. Is that better to my kids or not? It's the ultimate chesed. Because I'm giving them everything that they need, exactly what they need. That's chesed. But it can only be given in gvura. I can give my kid now a box full of candy. That's chesed. Here, take 5,000 pieces of candy. That's not chesed. The gvura is that I'm going to give you that I'm not going to give my kid 5,000 candy. I'm a bad example, but another father, I'll give you the 5,000 candy. One a day. I'm giving it to you. The ultimate chesed. But in the right quota. The ultimate example to this, what I just told you, is water a plant now every day with a bucket of water. Are you going to benefit the plant? You're going to flood it in 3 days. You're going to kill it. So all the water that you're giving is worthless. You need to give in a certain amount. Gvura comes to decide how much. How much do I need to give you? If it was up to me, we would be sitting here for an 8-hour class. That's what I want to give. The Gvura says, we're already an hour and a half into the class. You got to shorten it. They can't handle everything that you have to say. You're overloading the system here. So let me cut it short because I'm overloading the system. Dinim, judgments in my life, is anything that is holding me back and stopping me from doing something forward. That's the dinim in my life. You now relate with it however you find with your life. Something is stopping you in your life to becoming happier, healthier, success, whatever it is. But that's already beyond my hands. You need to figure out what are these things that are stopping you in your life. That's the dinim in your life. Tu B'Shvat is the time when a period of growth, a process of growth starts, and you have all the kelim, all the abilities, all the tools to start something new. Now it depends on you. Tu B'Shvat is when it starts. You can hop on the train or not. Now, important to understand that you will get ha'ara, Adam mekabel ha'ara lefi ha'kelim shelo. A person will get a godly shine according to your vessels. You sitting here right now, you are getting the information that I'm teaching. That's a ha'ara according to your vessels. The problem is that each and every one of you has different vessels. You understood it in a second, you understood it in 2 seconds, you understood it in 5 seconds, you didn't understand it. Because the ha'ara comes the same way, you accept it according to your kelim. Okay? In many of the cases, the recipient doesn't have the tools to accept what you have to give. And it can come in a teacher-student, can come a husband-wife, father-child, can come with a random person. Sometimes, where do you see it clearly? Is when you're looking at something like the news. You're looking at the news, and the reporter is saying something, and you're like, people actually believe him? And you're shocked that that's what he just said. You know that it's not true, it cannot be true, but millions of people believed. Your kelim, your tools are much greater than you saw the deception in a second. Most of the people, their kelim, their vessels are limited, so they accept it. That's how it was given. So, remember this, it's extremely, extremely important. Adam mekabel he'ara lefi ha'kelim shelo. A person will get a he'ara, a shine according to his vessels. What does it mean? His kelim, the Kabbalistic term is kamut haratzon. How much ratzon do I have? Ratzon means will. I'll explain it in a simple way. We get tools in order to better ourselves. I want you to build for me now a beautiful, beautiful closet. You have the talent, but you don't have any tools. So I bring you a hammer, I bring you a chisel, I bring you a nail, I bring you glue, I bring you tools. You have the ability and the knowledge to take these tools and build a beautiful art. Give the exact same tools to somebody else, they're not going to build nothing. Tools are the same. How come the result is different? Every person gets in their life tools. You are talented in music, you are talented in cooking, you are talented in education. Everybody has tools. And you have to see what you're good at. That will give you the roadmap of what you need to do in your life. 99% of people don't read the roadmap right. They don't understand the tools that Hashem gave them, and they're going to different directions, meeting only failures. Look at your tools. Every person has a talent, has hobbies, has things they like to do. I'm not going to work right now. Look what it is. Why do you like to paint, and you like sculpture, and you like to play a piano? Why? Because your parents pushed it on you? Not necessarily. How come you like playing a violin and you a piano? Why? Two different musicians, and whole different way of playing it. Here you have strings, here you have the keys. Every person has a talent. Even if you think that your talent is irrelevant, even if you think that your talent is worthless, the gnats livot batova, spitting in the well that where you drink from. Hashem gave you some type of knowledge or talent or wisdom or something, and you're not doing nothing with it. So, we all have tools. Most people don't know how to use their tools. They just don't know how to use it. I'll say it in other words, every person has a great potential. Most people don't know how to use their potential. Most people use maybe 1% of their potential. And the potential, I'm talking about spiritual, physical, anything. Most people are so numb that you're literally using 1 or 2% of your potential. I'm calling it kelim. Now I'm calling it potential that one can relate with it. Now the potential is inside. Sleeping. Every person is a potential for something huge. And it's sleeping. It's numb. But you need to wake it up. You need to know how to wake it up. And every person can, by the way. This is a practice that every person can do. Wake up the potential inside of you. I'm changing the words a little bit because I think it's a little bit confusing saying kelim, orot. I'm telling you potential. The Baal Sulam explains something very, very interesting. And again, you can relate to it as teachings of Kabbalah or taken from the Zohar. But there's a rule in this universe. He'eder kodem lehavaya. Translation, he'eder means a lack or absence. Something that's missing. Havaya means existence or creation. So what is the rule that he teaches us? He'eder kodem lehavaya. An absence, a void, must precede or come before the creation and the existence. Before the world was created, sorry, בראשית ברא אלוקים את השמיים ואת הארץ, והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו, וחושך על פני תהום. חושך is darkness, תוהו is chaos. היעדר קודם הוויה. First has to be the void, the absence, then the creation. ויאמר אלוהים. Right? First the absence, then the creation. That's the rule. So before any, what's the right word? Development. Before any development, which means that you're standing on one step and you need to develop to go to the next step. Okay? This is called hitpatchut. And in regards to madrigot, you cannot be on the same level all the time. If you stay on the same level, it will cause a disaster. I'm not going to use the cliche now, what I told you, that life is like riding a bike. If it's hard, means you're going up. If it's down, if it's easy, means you're going down. I'm sure you heard that cliche. And I'm sure you also heard my addition that if you're standing in one spot, you'll fall. But the Baal Sulam explains that you cannot stand in the same madriga the whole time. If you're standing in the same level, the result from it will be crashing. You will fall from that madriga. Which means that you constantly have to grow. If you're looking at the motion of climbing up steps, you don't go one step and stop. And one step and stop. That's how a 2-year-old goes upstairs. An adult, a kid, you go one step after the other, right? You swing your leg one step above. You don't swing your leg to the same level that the other leg is. The growing up that it's referring to is that if I'm standing on a certain madriga, the next step has to be higher. Cannot step on the same step. So before any type of development, any level that I'm standing on, now if I'm standing on a certain level, means I'm good at that. There's no other way to say that. If I'm not good at that, you're not on that level. If I'm standing on a certain level, means you're good at that level. But what's the next step? Now I have to grow to become better. If I want to become better from this level to this level, what do I need to do? That's a question. I need to give up the last step. Can you stay with your legs on all steps that you went on? Thank you. Show me the person that can step on all the steps and leave the legs on all the steps. You cannot. Because once you want to go to the next step, the leg needs to leave the previous step. So when I want to grow a little bit higher, I need to let go of the previous step. When things start to develop in your life, when you know how to let go of the last step. If you know how to let go of the last step, then you start developing. People don't develop and they don't grow because they don't know how to let go of the last step where the foot is on. The result, disaster. Very simple. The rule is, and I explained to you that many times, the rule for growth is only after total destruction. And the example that I give all the time, take a seed, put that seed of any fruit or vegetable tree or whatever, put that seed on the table. Water it, fertilize it, dance to it. Nothing will happen. The seed needs to be put in the ground in order for the seed to be completely rotten. And only after the seed is completely rotten, it will start growing. And why is that? Because in the ground, there's something that is called chomer matzmiach, the substance that causes growth. If you don't connect something that you want to grow to that substance, nothing will grow. Like I told you, take many, many seeds, put them on the table. Will they grow? No. How will the seeds grow? When you put them in the ground, when they rot completely, complete rikavon, then it starts sprouting. So growth always comes after complete destruction, rotting, whatever you want to call it. But that's only when growth will come. Where do you see the first commandment to that and the hint to that is with Avraham Avinu. What did Hashem tell him? Lech lecha. You want to grow? Go. He wasn't like some old guy. But nevertheless, Hashem told him, you want to grow? You got to leave. Lech lecha. You got to... Why lech lecha? Lech. Why lech lecha? Lech means first of all, leave. Move. Lecha, it means you. You have to go where you need to go. Where you need to grow. It's all in you. Your growth is within you. Don't come to people and expect them to help you grow. Nobody will help you grow. People come to me all the time like as if I have a magic button and I will help you grow. I can give you tools. I can't do it for you. I can do it for myself to tell you it works, but I can only give you tools. So Avraham Avinu was commanded, Lech lecha. From where? Me'artzecha, mimoladetcha, mimakom megurecha. From all the things that are familiar to you. For the things where you feel comfortable, when you're surrounding. But you want to grow, you need to move. The key for growth, like I told you, is to let go. Most people don't know how to let go. You know how they hunt a specific species of monkeys in Africa? They have a very interesting way how to hunt them. I don't know the name of the species, but they put salt balls, like little balls of salt, in like a trap. And some reason the monkeys like eating those the balls made out of salt. So what do? They make a little hole. The hand of the monkey goes in. It grabs the salt, and then when it comes to come out, it can't come out because the paw is full of the ball. And the monkey is stupid not to let go of the ball to take the hand out. And that's how they hunt them. Very simple. The monkey puts the hand in, grabs the salt in the shape of a ball, comes to go out, boop, the hand doesn't go out. He sees the hunter. Just let go. Just let go. You'll run away. Won't let go. Not letting go. That's most people. That's most people in the world. Not willing to let go. You're not willing to let go, you'll stand in the same place, you'll start deteriorating, and at some point you'll collapse completely. Collapse, not physically. The whole system will collapse because you don't want to let go. Now, what stops you from letting go? One thing, fear. Fear of change. That's it. Now, I have to understand that in order to do any change in my life, I have to change myself. I'm not happy with the fact that I'm single, I have to change myself. I'm not happy with the fact that of my financial situation, I have to change myself. I'm not happy with my relationship with my wife, I have to change myself. And I will say that to everything. I'm the problem, not you. You're not a problem. You're just standing there. In order for me to change myself, I have to do a very hard act that is hinted to us in a verse of Tehillim, in Shir LaMa'alot, when I'm asking for Hashem for help. Shir LaMa'alot, Me'ayin yavo ezri. Where will my salvation come from? From where will my help come? Right? Me'ayin yavo ezri. Where? So the answer is in the verse. Ezri will come from Ayin. Ayin is a place. Right? Where does the help come from? From Ayin. What is Ayin? Ayin is the same letters of Ani. Ayin is Aleph, Yud, Nun, and Ani is Aleph, Nun, Yud. Same letters. Ani, my existence, my ego, everything. The Ayin has to be changed. The Ezri, my salvation, my help will come from Ayin. I'm sure you heard of the verse from the book of Kohelet, chapter 2, verse 13, Yitron ha'or min ha'choshech. The advantage of light over darkness. Light is always going to come before great darkness. Before we got the Torah, great light, we had to be in exile in Egypt. We finally came back to this land after 2,000 years, after a great darkness, great Holocaust, then comes the light. When is the advantage of the light? Is when it comes from darkness. That's when the advantage is strong. So just remember the rule, always before light will come darkness. Before the baby that is born will come horrible birth. Horrible. The pain and everything that comes with labor. You want to make a lot of money? Then it doesn't come in a year. A business will take 10, 20 years to make money. The light comes after. The verse that I'm quoting says, Tamid lifnei or ba choshech, always before light will come darkness. Ve'ashrei mishi yisrod et hachoshech. And lucky is the one that will survive the darkness. Sometimes in life it's a period of darkness and you don't need to do anything, just to put your head down and wait for the darkness to pass. And nothing that you will do will change anything. Now, I told you that me'ayin yavo ezri. Where is my help going to come from? Me'ayin. How do I reveal ayin? Ayin is not an I. Ayin that is an I is ayin yud nun. That's written in different letters. That's an I. Ayin that I'm talking about is aleph yud nun, and that's a place of nothingness. How do I reveal the ayin? There are 3 ways of doing it. And I have to understand that everything that I want to do for my spiritual growth, for my elevation, I have to connect one thing. It's called koach mechaber, the power of connection. The power of connection is my neshama. Anything that I want to do, and what I'm telling you now, has to be the element of the koach mechaber, the power that puts things together. Because I can take these 2 batteries and put them together. Now what's going to happen? Nothing happened. Why are they not together? There's no koach mechaber. What would be koach mechaber at this time? Glue. Now they won't separate. And according how strong the koach mechaber is, that's how strong they're going to be together. Some glues will be enough to keep it and a little bit and take it off. Some will put them together and you can't separate them. So the koach mechaber is the power of the what connects, is one of the elements that is very important. But how do I reveal the ayin? I need to, and I'm telling you it by order. Why do I need to reveal the ayin? Because that's where the help will come from. How do I reveal the ayin? 3 ways. The first way is Hashem. The second way is Torah, and the third way is Israel. Kudsha brichu oraita v'Yisrael. These are the 3 things that how I reveal the ayin. How? By connecting to them. Which means I have to connect to Hashem, connect to the Torah, and connect to Israel. How do I connect to Hashem? I know you're all going to say, I'll do mitzvot and all that. That's very nice of you. You connect to Hashem in one way. Tamim tiyeh im Hashem Elokecha. This is a verse from the book of Dvarim, chapter 18, verse 13. The translation, be wholehearted with the Lord your God. Very unclear verse. Most people understand it as that you have to be wholehearted. Tamim. Which is not far from the truth. The explanation of Tamim tiyeh im Hashem Elokecha, and that's the way to connect to Hashem in regards to revealing the ayin. What does it mean, Tamim tiyeh im Hashem Elokecha? That I accept everything besimcha, in great joy. That's Tamim tiyeh im Hashem Elokecha, by the way, if you need the reference. And everything that happens, you have to accept it with great joy and happiness. That's condition number 1. Condition number 2, al tachkor achar atidot. Don't investigate too much about the future. Don't ask questions. Who's going to be my wife? How is my wife going to look? Where am I going to live? Don't ask too many questions. What's going to happen? That's how you connect to Hashem in order to reveal the ayin. Don't look for other ways. And of course, you need the koach hamchaber, your neshama, which that will come, of course, through Torah, mitzvot, and many other things. But if I want to reveal the ayin by connecting to God, tamim tiyeh im Hashem Elokecha, everything that happens to you, smile on your face. The next thing you have to connect to is the Torah. How do I connect to the Torah? Not in the way that you do. You have to. And if you do it, I apologize for not excluding you from the group. A lot of people get very offended when I say things. I'm not talking to you, by the way. I'm talking to you. People get it. Sometimes people look in the screen and they think I'm talking to them and they email me. Why are you upset at me? I wasn't upset at you, but you're looking at me. I'm looking at you. I'm talking to everybody. If you connect to the Torah in the way that I'm about to tell you, I sincerely apologize that I offended you. The way to connect in the Torah is that you lehitamek balimud. Lehitamek balimud is that you really dive into the learning by yourself. You're not sitting here with a cup of coffee and a cookie and listening to me, taking notes. That's like first class. It's not even first class. It's just I'm just feeding you the information, right? Spoon-fed Torah. Okay, you didn't work for that. You didn't look for that. You didn't put too much effort. You didn't take 3-4 books to cross references to see. You're just sitting here with your nice cup of tea, and you enjoy the class. That's great, by the way. But that's not Li'itamek Balimud. Li'itamek Balimud is that you take the book with yourself and you learn it yourself. And you come to the conclusion yourself. And you, in many cases, will need another 3-4 other books to support or to explain what you need to learn from what you're learning now, a whole different level of learning Torah. And I'm telling you, this is a different level of learning Torah. And I know people don't like when I say that, but I say that still, most people don't learn Torah like that. Most people either learn Torah from videos, or from classes, or they read a book that was already digested by the author, and he's just giving you the information digested. That's not להתעמק בלימוד. And I'll give you one example out of many. Take the famous book of Arav Shalom Arush, Garden of Emunah. Millions of people read it. Millions of people were affected by it, positively. This information is years of knowledge of Rabbi Arush, digesting and chewing this information and delivering it to you in a book. That's not להעמיק בלימוד. It's inspiring, it's uplifting, gives you great tools. That's not what I'm talking about. להעמיק בלימוד is that you need 2 hours of complete quiet. No phone, no distractions. You can be sitting in a yeshiva with 500 people, but you need to be in the book. And you need to be so deep into what you're learning that the only way to do that is you'll need another 3, 4, 5 other books of commentaries and explanations and sources. To learn 1 page of Gemara real good, 3 hours. That's להעמיק בלימוד. That I'm with myself or with my partner of learning, my chavruta, and I go one word after the other. Maybe one word I won't understand. I have to open a dictionary. Maybe I'll have to go to 3 different Gemarot to see how in those Gemarot they use that word. That's why you cannot learn Gemara if you just know Aramaic. It's not going to help. Because sometimes same word, 3 different meanings. How would you learn it? From 3 different places in the Gemara, which you need to know how to find. So sometimes your learning has to be so deep. You know how sometimes I would read a book. I'm preparing a class. Something will come up, not clear. I will have to look for that concept in other books, some from my memory that I read 11 years ago. I don't remember where I read it, so I have to go now through 3 books to freshen the memory. And then, one time I'll learn something and I'll make a note, and I'll remember that note, go back to that book and say, hey, Ben Ish Chai says exactly like the Malbim. Oh! That's להעמיק בלימוד. להעמיק means to deepen your learning. And what happens when you do that? You connect your soul with the soul of the person who wrote what you're learning. So you are really diving into Likutei Moharan, you're connecting your soul to Rabbi Nachman. You're diving into Sha'ar Gilgulim, you connect yourself to Arizal, the Rabbi Chaim Vital, and so forth. Okay. Now comes the third thing. First I have to connect to God, right? Then I have to connect to the Torah. Very easy. What's the third thing I need to connect to? Israel. Now if you scream free Palestine, you're going to have an issue with connecting to Israel. Okay? But connecting to Israel is not so simple. I know you're all mumbling under your lips, Ahavat Israel. I know you said that. I know. But we don't need to apply the Ahavat Israel. That's very hard. Very, very hard to apply Ahavat Israel. Ahavat Israel means that I like another person, like myself, minimum. It's easy to have Ahavat Israel with your husband or wife, or your parents, or your kids, or people you love. Random people, very, very hard to have Ahavat Israel. So what do we need to focus on? Not on the Ahavat Israel, on the Sinat Chinam, on the baseless hate. To reach to a level of Ahavat Israel, I wish for you and myself to reach to that level. Okay? And I'll explain to you what's that level in a second. We're not in that level. I mean, we are with 5 people. Okay? Those people that you really love. So I need to concentrate on the opposite, where I fail miserably, and that's called Sinat Chinam. Sinat Chinam is baseless hate. So what do I need to do? Just don't hate. It's very simple. Just don't hate. You don't have to love. Just don't hate. You're not going to reach so easily to the level of Avat Israel. I'm telling you. I'm trying for 20 years. It's not so easy to reach to a level of Avat Israel. You know why? Because true Avat Israel is that you pray for other people. It's that you want for other people that it should be good, that it should be good for them. Now, who do you pray for, and who do you want it to be good for? Like I told you, your loved ones, your parents, your spouse, your kids. Of course, you pray for them to be good. I want you to pray on the person you hate the most, the one that slanders you, the one that stole from you, the one that embezzled your money, the one that cheated on you, the one that curses you. I want you to pray for them to be good and healthy and fine. Then we'll start talking. Okay? End the story. Last time when you went to pray, what did you pray for? Money? You need money? What did you pray? To find your husband? You prayed to have healthy kids? You prayed to find a nice apartment? You prayed for... If you pray for that, I understand. I also need health and money and shlom bayit. If you prayed for the health of a person that you don't know, or even don't like, then you're starting to scrape the bottom of Avat Chinam, of Avat Israel. So we have to focus on the lower level of Sinat Chinam. Just don't hate. You know how I master Sinat Chinam? I don't have Sinat Chinam. You know why? Because I don't hate. I might not agree with you. I might not be fond of you or like you, but I don't hate you. And you can curse me, and you can slander me, and you can steal from me. You can do whatever you want from me. I'm not going to hate you. Because besides that you are stupid, you are a tool of God. God is sending you to do all these things. I don't hate you. I don't hate anyone in this world. I wish good even to my enemies. Believe it or not. Because my enemies are controlled by God. I have no control here. And I'm excluding now terrorists, Hamas. I'm not praying for them, okay? But I am praying for them to be to be removed. But what do I need to do to connect to Israel is stop hating. You don't have to like. You don't have to like me. That's what I tell the people who attack me. You don't have to like me. Just don't hate me. Don't comment stupid things on my videos because you're writing Lashon Hara. And don't hate me because you're carrying hate in you and you are poisoning yourself. You don't have to like me or love me or agree with me. Just don't hate me. End of story. I have to understand, we have to understand that the true love that I want to reach, I'm not even talking about this right now. I don't think we're in that level. I don't think that our nation, our entire human race is ready for that level of Avat Israel. We're going to have to go through a few other slaps to our face to be ready to start applying their true Avat Israel. That I think will come in the next day. Right now there's not Avat Israel. I don't agree with that. The Avat Israel is between two people who know each other. So there's Avat Israel within the group, within the family, within the neighborhood. But on the longer range, do me a favor. I talk to thousands of people. I travel all over the world. I speak and interact with thousands of people. My gauge of monitoring information is way more than many other people. Yesterday, I answered, I'm just telling you, yesterday was a busy day. But in regards to production, wasn't that busy. Yesterday, I answered 136 questions that came in through emails and WhatsApps. That's it. You know how much time that takes? Even if it's 1 minute for one answer, that's 136 minutes. That's already 2.5 hours. An answer doesn't take a minute. Some is typing, some is recording. And what's 136 messages? You know how many messages I get a day? Sometimes it's 5,000 a day. I don't even process the messages. The true Ahava, the true love to somebody else, and that's why I'm telling you that, and I know I know people don't like hearing it, and I know it sounds like I'm very negative. I'm not negative when I say there's no Ahavat Israel. I know it sounds negative, and I know it sounds like as if I'm bringing bad energy to the world. I'm talking negative. People tell me, you should talk more positive, and I talk in English and in Hebrew. That's the two languages I talk. I don't talk negative, positive. There's no language like that. The true love to another person, unconditionally, is that you have the desire and you do fulfill the needs of another person, and you want for that other person that their life should be good, when you don't even know the person. It doesn't matter, the person did good to you, the person did bad to you, you never saw the person. It's all equal, should be in your eyes. If it's not equal in your eyes, you're not in the level of Ahavat Israel. Because if it's not equal in the eyes, then my wife, which I love, then my Ahavat Israel to her is in levels that you can't imagine. Of course I will take care of her needs. Of course I will pray for her needs. But that's my wife. If I don't see my wife equal to you, then I don't really have the Ahavat Israel. I love my wife as my wife, that's a whole different thing. But in regards to Ahavat Israel, my wife and you have to be in the same level. And if the people around me are not in the same level, you don't have that Ahavat Israel. If I'm treating the Ahavat Israel according to how much I like you, then that's not the Ahavat Israel. I'm just treating you according to how much I like you. You I like a lot, I treat you nice. You I don't like, I don't treat you nice. Therefore, you don't have the right Ahavat Israel. Ahavat Israel that I see all the people equal. My child, my flesh and blood, my enemy. I'm not talking about Hamas right now. I'm talking about another Jew that is slandering me or cheating me or misusing me. And then a person that I don't even know. All three have to be in the same level. Same level means that I want to help them the same way. And I will help them the same way. And I don't say, oh, you have a preference over the other. That's the real Ahavat Israel. And that's why we didn't reach it. I have tons of Ahavat Israel. To the ones I like. To the ones I teach. To the ones I get along with. Do you ever see me argue with you? You ever see me yell at you? You ever curse you? No, we're you students here. I see you all the time. Of course I have Ahavat Israel to you. Not in the same level that I have Ahavat Israel to my kids or my wife or my parents. Therefore, my level of Ahavat Israel is not perfect. And the question is, you see two wounded people on the floor. They need your help. One is a total stranger and one is your mother. Who do you help? You run to help your mother. And the story, that's where your Ahavat Israel is not aligned the right way. Now, I'm not telling you not to run and help your mother. I'm just giving a very vulgar example. That you run to help what you like, what you appreciate, what you benefit from. Now start helping the complete opposite. Then you can come and talk to me about Ahavat Israel. Since we cannot talk about Ahavat Israel, let's talk about Sinat Chinam. I'm telling you, I'm not in the level of Ahavat Israel of the Baal Shem Tov or many others. Oh, I have years away before I will get to that level. I can declare, I have Ahavat Israel. I have many people who attack me. Why are you saying we don't have Ahavat Israel? I have a lot of Ahavat Israel. Yeah, to your neighbor, to your child, and to your mother, and to your cousin. Come to my territory for one day. Let's see how much Ahavat Israel you're going to have. When people don't agree with you and people mock you. So if we're focusing on the opposite, on the Sinat Chinam, baseless hate, I have very simple advice to you. Don't hate. That's it. You solve the problem. Now you're connected to Hashem. You're connected to the Ain on all three levels. To Hashem is through Tamim Tiyem Hashem Elokecha. Accept everything with simcha, with great happiness and joy, and be thankful and be appreciative. The next, you need to connect to the Torah. I'm not expecting you tomorrow to buy a Gemara and start learning or Zohar, but you have to learn Torah in a very deep way. And if you're doing right now classes, find once a week that you take a book that is a little bit difficult to understand. I will recommend Chovat HaLevavot, the duty of the hearts, or Mesilat Yesharim, the path of the righteous. They're difficult books. They're not easy books. If you can find something with commentary, great. But make yourself a challenge that you learn Torah real deep. Deep, I mean that you bring yourself to understand it without somebody explaining it to you. You know that I learned Torah for about 3 or 4 years. I thought I understood. I understood the concept. I understood the text. I understood many things, but I didn't really understand. It took me, I think, 3 or 4 years to get to a point that one day I was learning, I didn't get it. I repeated and went back and read. And I really, like having a hammer and a chisel, banging in a cement wall that you bang, a little bit of dust comes out. That's the metaphor of how I saw my learning. Banging and nothing happens. If you take now a 10-kilo hammer and a steel chisel and you start banging the wall, you break the wall. You want to see results. 3 or 4 years, I didn't see any result. Nothing in my learning. Till one day, I probably got so upset that I gave one strong hit on the chisel. Poof, and then I understood it by myself. And I could not believe that I understood it. I got so excited that I was able to understand the concept by myself. And I read it over and I read it again. And how did I want to know that I really understood it? That I went to explain it. Einstein says if you can't explain it to a 4-year-old, you didn't understand it yourself. That's the point, that something broke in the klipa and I started understanding, and I understood that my understanding is not coming from a person that will explain. My understanding is coming from within, from my neshama. The neshama understood it. I broke the klipa, I revealed it, I understood it. You know what I was about to say tanug. You know what a pleasure the in your mind, the excitement. You have to experience it to understand what it means. That's why you can understand some people that are scholars that they don't need anything but the Torah. They're getting their, excuse my language, they're getting their ecstasy from the Torah, not from anything else. And they're in a high, like on a drug. So, what do you do on Tu B'Shvat? First of all, go to my website at smut.org/Tu B'Shvat, and you'll find there everything that you need to do on Tu B'Shvat. There's certain prayers to say. There's a Seder Tu B'Shvat to do. I'm not going to explain one word on it right now because I gave many classes about that. Go to the website of smut.org/Tu B'Shvat. You have all the information there. We do a certain Seder for Tu B'Shvat. Some do the short one, some do the long one. The long one takes a long time. The short one is short as it sounds. You can find both of them on my website. Download PDFs. You can download everything. Do the Seder. You have to do the Seder. It's simple. If you do the short version, it will take you 10 minutes, not more. I made it easy for you. Download everything from my website. You have everything in PDFs. What you need to read, when you need to read, and what you need to do. That's the minimum of the minimum. And tomorrow we're going to have another class before Tu B'Shvat. I'll just remind you briefly the things that you need to do. It's not a hard holiday. You need to go out and buy figs and pomegranates and whatever you need to buy. Some people do a big seder for Tu B'Shvat. I'll give you a secret. If you do the seder of Tu B'Shvat as serious as that you do Leil Seder on Pesach, you'll be good. You'll have a very good year. Because you're doing what's supposed to be done on Tu B'Shvat. So what to do physically on Tu B'Shvat? Go to the website that I just told you, to my webpage, or come tomorrow. I'll give you a quick refreshment to what needs to be done. And there's things that needs to be done. Certain prayers, the Seder Pesach, where we eat different types of fruit with certain blessings and we quote things. That's what you need to do. That means you need to get aligned or to get connected to the light that is shining on that day. I told you in the beginning, I need to align myself where the light is, not the light needs to be aligned to me. So in 2 days, I need to position myself where the light is going to hit the most. Through the rituals that I need to do, And then, of course, if you do that and you don't make the next step, you did good. But everything that I told you now, you either watch the video again 10 times or either write it in notes, and you need to start going one step after the other to understand, what do I need to do? I have now the opportunity for great change. I explained that. It took me now 2 hours to explain to you the opportunity. But what do I do? Person A says, my change in life is I want to find a spouse. Another person says, my change in life is I need to parnasa, I need my livelihood. Every person in their life, the change is different. Some person is not parnasa, not health, not anything. Just coping with depression, coping with anxiety, coping with the loss of a loved one. Every person has a different thing to deal with. Tu B'Shvat is when you can rejuvenate and start. But now will come the $1 million question. What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do in 2 days? Are you going to do something or not? If you're just going to read the Seder Tu B'Shvat and read a few Tehillim that needs to be read on that day, okay, very nice. You tuned yourself into the light. You'll get your Shefa, you'll get Ha'ara. Might affect you in some way or another, but you're missing all the point. The point is that if you want to go to the next step, I told you, you need to not let go of the previous step. And if you don't let go, you will never grow. And every person that I see that has issues with taking themselves to the next level, it's because they don't know how to let go from the level before. Very simple. That can be a person that hurt you, can be a person that used you, a person that stole from you, can be an incident that you're not willing to forgive, and many other things. You're just not willing to let go. So what I would recommend, besides what needs to be done on the day, that's a whole different thing. Follow the link, the website, go, see, learn, get educated. But what you need to do on Tu B'Shvat is you need to take a time, can be Wednesday night, can be Thursday day. This year will be Wednesday and Thursday. Chas v'shalom, if Mashiach won't come in the next year, then you might see this next year. It will be different days. This year is Wednesday and Thursday. There are different opinions when is the best time to do the Seder. Some do it at night on Wednesday. Some do it around Mincha time on Thursday afternoon. There's different times. Each one you consult your guide, your rabbi, when is the best time to do it. I do it in the afternoon of Thursday, around the time of Mincha, of the end of Tu B'Shvat. But nevertheless, what you need to do on that day, for 5 minutes or 1 hour or whatever it takes, is to review the information that I told you now and to summarize it into one word. Maybe I'll do that for you to make your life easy, and I'll include in tomorrow's class about Tu B'Shvat. 5-step things, but what I told you. I need to, first of all, relate with the concept of what I just talked now. If you don't relate with what I just said, the practice is not for you. If you relate and you can find one thing in your life that resembles what I just told you now, then we can start. Okay? Once you found that one thing in your life, and it can be 5 things in your life that resembles the examples that I gave, if you don't find anything, well, you're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good. Go back to what you're doing and continue doing it. You know the story that was once the Baal Shem Tov used to travel a lot. So one time he went to some village and he inspired all the residents and learned with them and all that. And in the morning, he was about to leave the village. So he goes on his little dinghy, a little boat. Another guy's starting to row the boat, and they're on the lake and they're going in the water and they're in the middle of the water. Suddenly one guy had a question to the Baal Shem Tov, and he grabs his prayer book and he starts running. Oh Israel, stop. And he's running and running and running. He wants to ask his question. And then he gets to the boat. And he tells to the Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi, yesterday you showed me in the Siddur something I need to say right here. What do I need to say? The Baal Shem Tov looks at him, and the guy's standing on the water. The Baal Shem Tov's in a boat. He ran on the water. The Baal Shem Tov looks at him and says, keep on doing what you're doing. You're doing very good. Whatever you're doing, keep on doing that. He, the person, was so immersed in what the Baal Shem Tov taught him and what he needs to do. He was running to the Baal Shem Tov. He didn't even see the water. If things are good in your life and you have no complaints, then I'll tell you what the Baal Shem Tov says. Keep on doing what you're doing. Right? If everything is perfect in your life, no complaints, you're doing great. Can you teach me what you're doing? And even if you can't teach me, just keep on doing what you're doing. When do you need to change? When you're not running on water. When things in life don't work out how you want them to work out. And it doesn't matter how much you're going to try to hide it. Everyone, including me, many things in their life are not running how they wish it would run. Whether it's relationship, whether it's money, whether it's health, whether it's spiritual growth, maybe it's my own emotions that are completely out of control, sadness, depression, anxiety, fear. There's not one person in this world that can tell you, I don't know what you're talking about. Life is great. Now, many people can tell you life is great, but it doesn't mean they don't have challenges. I want to make a sticker. I'm not going to make a sticker, but I would like to make a sticker, which I think it's a very good. I told it to my kid the other day. They got it. Because you know what kids say all the time? Mothers of you will understand. Kids say all the time, it's not fair. What? Why did he get one more? It's not fair. So not too long ago, my daughter also said something not fair. And I wanted to actually scream at her. How dare you say it's not fair? You have a bed. You have nice clothes. You have food. You have toys. You have I wanted to go out at her. Like, how dare you? I don't want to hear this. It's not fair anymore. Look how you live. Instead of that, I told her, you're right. Life is not fair. And she looked at me like, she's only 8 years old, so she looked at me like she was expecting a different answer. But I told her, life is not great, not fair. But it's still great. That's it. That was my answer. Life is not fair, but it's still good. That's it. Life is good. I'm asking you a real question. Life is good? No. I want to hear you saying life is amazing. Not Baruch Hashem. Life is amazing. That's what I want to hear. Yeah, I have a lot of challenges. Definitely not fair. But it's still good. I'm here. I can breathe. I can do mitzvot. Can you do mitzvot in Gan Eden? No. Can you do tshuva in Gan Eden? No. This is the best place. The challenges are the best things in your life. All your headaches are the best things in your life. If you look at them as challenges, then they're challenges. If you're looking at them as steps to take you to the next level, life is not fair, but it's still good. Life is good. Listen, I have challenges more than you, by the way. I know it looks like my life is easy. I have very interesting life. Okay? And I'm good with that. I'm not complaining. So you want to get to a point that life is good. It doesn't mean you're not going to have challenges. It doesn't mean you're not going to have disagreements and arguments and disappointments. And then you can say life is not fair. I will tell you, you're right, life is not fair. But it's still good. So what you need to do on Tu B'Shvat is to take everything that I just told you and internalize it in a way that you can use this day as a launcher, like a rocket launcher that will send you to a completely different level. Whole different start. But you're going to have to watch the video again, because I don't think 2 hours of information. But when it comes to focusing my energy, what needs to be done on Tuesday, on a Thursday, on Tu B'Shvat? Go to the website, download the PDF, read it, and do it. Do it, copy it. Then you'll do good. You did most of what you need to do on Tu B'Shvat. But on Tu B'Shvat, you need to understand that that's your starting point. You can pass that 24 hours and say, okay, I missed. Or say, okay, I have an opportunity to change anything and everything on this day. What do I need to do? I told you. Me'ayin yavo izri. David HaMelech tells you. Where will the help come from? From Ayin. How do I connect to Ayin? I told you. You have to connect to Hashem, Torah, and Israel. Which means that you have to make that already decision on that day. How am I connecting to Hashem? How am I connecting to the Torah? And how am I connecting to Israel? What am I doing? What am I going to do from today to apply these three? You apply all these things, everything that I told you. I know it's a long class. Just apply everything. You hit the Tu B'Shvat nail on the head. And then you start the process, Purim, Pesach. You will see. You'll have great success in what you did. It's not going to remove the challenges. It doesn't mean that if you do A, all the challenges here will stop. It doesn't mean that at all. But if you're applying number one in connecting to Ayin through Hashem, then you accept everything in happiness, like I told you, with great joy. Then you go back to practice what you're doing. You have here enough information and tools what to do to understand Me'ayin yavo izri. How can I outgrow this challenge? I'll give you one example out of many on myself, and then we can conclude. If I look in my life, I would look now at all the difficult things in my life that I will consider as challenges. One of them is, like everybody, money. Everybody needs money. Some people can live off 5,000 shekels a month. Some people need much more. I have 7 kids. I need a lot of money. So, as everybody, I have the challenge of how am I making money? It doesn't make me depressed, doesn't make me worried, it doesn't make me upset, but it's a challenge. It's I call it on a low burner. It's cooking there. But more than that, I have 7 kids. I have to take care of 7 kids. I have a wife, I have family, students, business. I have so many things in my daily life that I can call them challenges. I'm not saying negative right now. I'm just calling them challenges. Something that causes me to be on my best behavior. When I'm on vacation, you know that in the summer, let me give you a more clear example. In the summer, I wanted to take on vacation my family. We couldn't go on vacation for different reasons. Then I decided to make the vacation at home. I told the kids, we cannot go physically to the place of vacation. Let's have a vacation at home. So we would wake up later, we go to the beach, go to the pool, go hiking, whatever. So we had a vacation, but still in the home. And what I noticed, that when you are on vacation, it doesn't matter if it's in your home or if you're in Hawaii, on vacation, you by default a little bit more laid back and a little bit more relaxed, and you don't deal with your daily things that you deal on a daily basis. So I noticed that I was less angry, less agitated, less, with the kids. I'm on vacation. But the reality is that how I'm on vacation has to be every day. But more than that, what it made me realize, being on vacation in the summer, that my daily challenges, that's the steps of my spiritual growth. Without my regular challenges, I cannot be the man I'm supposed to be. And if I need to grow spiritually, every day, every week, every month, every year, everything that God is dishing out to me, that's the steps. That's why I told you, accept everything with great joy. How can I not accept it with great joy? The other day I had to deal with something with my kid. The whole day was spent on that. I did not work. I missed the minyanim of Mincha and Arvit. I had to pray in the street. The whole day was... I came home 7, 8 in the evening. What a waste of a day. Didn't pray in the minyan. I didn't learn. I didn't work. The whole day I was concentrated on what I had to do with my son. Normal reaction, being upset, being disappointed, screaming at the sun. You see, because of you, I wasted my day. The right attitude, as like I told you, accepting everything besimcha, that was the energy of the day. That was supposed to be done that day. Nothing else was supposed to be done that day. Nothing would be achieved that day but that thing that was supposed to be done that day. Because that's the energy of the day. And that's the step of me growing greater because I focused on that challenge that seems to me irrelevant to my life. Because when I'm looking at the challenge that I had with my boy last week that I'm talking to you about, in my mind, let me paint to you my mind. Rabbi Anava needs to prepare now classes. I need to be sitting in my desk and learning because I need to prepare classes. And I have phone calls to answer. And I have this to take care of. Now, when I'm being taken away from that, then I start getting upset. I get angry. But whoever took me away from that, I get impatient. That's where you lose your madriga. You have to understand. That day, I removed everything. I called anyone that I needed to interact with. Says, I can't talk today. I'm not available that day. I am not going to learn my 4 hours of Torah today. I'm not going to learn. I'm going to learn 15 minutes and that's my time. I'm not going to learn. I'm not going to pray in a minyan today. So I can appreciate the next time I pray in a minyan and to give me more inspiration to run to a minyan. But my focus was not on what I'm missing, on what can be achieved in the situation that God put me in against my will. You understand the differences? Instead of complaining, instead of being upset, instead of being angry, instead of being angry at my kid for doing whatever he did that I had to spend instead of being angry at the entire world, I understood that this day I'm not the regular Alon Anava. Today I'm Abba. You understand the difference? Now, right now, you know who I am? Rabbi Anava. You know that in 5 minutes I'm finishing the class, I'm going to go home, I'm going to be Abba. That's it. Because I have to go pick up my girl. She calls me Abba. I'm not Rabbi Anava for my 8-year-old. And then in the evening I'm meeting a friend. I'm not Rabbi Anava, I'm alone. He tells me straight out, I'm not your fan. I'm not joking, I'm not inventing. My best friend, I'm not going to meet him tonight, but I'm just saying in the order. When I meet him, he tells me, "You're not my rabbi." He's like, "I'm your friend. I'm not your fan. I don't listen to your classes. I don't learn from you. You're not my rabbi. You are my friend. You are Alon." So in the afternoon, I'm Rabbi Anava. Different responsibility, different attitude, different words, everything. In 10 minutes, this shirt goes off. A different shirt goes on, and suddenly I'm not Rabbi Anava, I'm Alon Anava. I'm not even Alon Anava, I'm Abba. So I change completely. And then in the evening, suddenly I'm alone. And then if I talk to my mom, then I'm Aloni. And then if I talk to my wife, then I'm not going to tell you the nickname my wife calls me, but which means I have to adjust according to the light. You are the light right now. You are now the student. I have to adjust myself to the light. I need to speak words that you can understand. If this class now would be different people, the words would be different. If it would be total secular people, my class is totally different. Same topic, total different words. Now imagine I'm sitting in a class with rabbis who are 20 years learned in the Torah, and I have to give over a class. Do you think that you getting it how they're getting it? No. That's a 10-minute class because I don't have to explain everything that I explained to you. I just say the concepts. I can just say one verse. I gave a class not too long ago. It was for young men who learn Kollel, all in their 30s and 40s. You're talking about men that were either born religious, so they grew up in yeshivot, or most of their life they're learning Torah. And I had to prepare a certain class and to give it was a private class. It was 15 men. I came home and I told my wife, it's the easiest classes to teach these guys. I don't have to prepare anything. I don't have to explain anything. They get what I say right away. I don't have to, I just say the verse. To you, if I mention a verse, I told you a verse from Kohelet. So I have to tell you there is a verse in the book of Kohelet. Kohelet is Ecclesiastics and chapter 2, verse 13, and the translation. I wasted 5 minutes. To that group, I just say, Tona Or Min HaChoshech. They know exactly which chapter it is, who said it and why. That's it. So the class is short and to the point. So I have to adjust myself, like I told you in the beginning of the class, I have to adjust to the light. With you, I'm Rabbi Anava. In 10 minutes, I'm Abba. I have to be with an 8-year-old girl. Whole different energy, different person. It's a different person. You won't recognize Rabbi Anava when I'm Abba. That's it. It's a total different individual. So I change myself according to the situation. So I don't look at my daily activities as challenges. I'm looking at it as my steps of what needs to be done. So by default, you don't get upset. The day when I went with that I'm telling you about, that day was no Torah. I didn't pray in a minyan, mincha and arvit. I prayed on a highway. I couldn't find the minyan. I didn't learn Torah, came home very late. I learned the minimum of the minimum. So that day wasn't prayer well and wasn't Torah well. Am I going to Gehenom? I'm not going to go to Gehenom for that. Hashem sometimes wants me to take a yerida so I can ascend to understand, get the right perspective and appreciation. You know that most men don't appreciate when they pray in a minyan? They just go because they're ordered to, and they have to, and peer pressure, they don't want the neighbors to see, where were you in the minyan? I don't know many men who have the attitude of saying, I'm so lucky I can play in a minyan. You know who are the men who say that? Men who live in Little Rock, Arkansas, and they get to a minyan once a month. I used to pray somewhere where I lived. There was one guy, an Israeli, who drove 3 hours to pray with us on Rosh Chodesh. Where he was, no minyanim. So this is Rosh Chodesh I come. Rosh Chodesh he would drive 3 hours to pray with us. You know how much he appreciated the minyan? Men who pray in minyan don't appreciate the fact that they pray in a minyan. They take it for granted. Now pray 2-3 days without a minyan, suddenly you get your perspective the right way. So when I fail in something like that, and I'm telling you, I didn't find it. I prayed on the highway. I stopped the car, saw the sun, I had to pray on a highway. I got upset. I didn't pray good. It was fast, it was annoying. I knew but instead of getting angry, upset and disappointed, the complete opposite. That's the will of Hashem. Hashem wanted me to pray on the highway. Hashem wanted me to work harder in my concentration. Hashem wanted me to realize the value of a minyan. Hashem wanted me to teach me a lesson, to appreciate the minyan. I don't look at that as my downfall. I look at that as my step. How do I get better and stronger? So all day long, we are dealing with challenges. Some people, they drown in their challenges. They can't deal with it. If you're that person, this class is not only an emergency, you need to apply many more things. But if your life is normal but chaotic, which is most people, then you need to go by the order what I'm telling you here. And then you see that life becomes a lot of challenges, but it's not chaotic. Sometimes when I come home, and again, I can only give you examples on myself. It's not showing off. It's not I'm trying a thing that I'm something. I'm giving you an example on myself. If you want, volunteer 3 people, I'll lock you in a house for 5 months and I'll give examples on you. I can't do that. I give examples on myself. Many, many times I want my day to go a certain way, and all day long will come another challenge after another to throw me off my focus. And the challenges, they need to be dealt with. Suddenly something in the school, this child, suddenly something in this situation. If you're accepting it as tests and as, let me say it the other way. If you're not accepting that it's all from Hashem, you get angry, upset, disappointed, not productive, and so forth. If you understand that that's the maze of the day, then you just focus how to find your way out, and you don't get impressed by the situations. The right way of dealing is it. I told you already, when you wake up in the morning and you sit on your bed and you say, Modeh ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kam, shechazarta bi nishmati b'chemla rabba emunatecha, Sit another 5 minutes or 2 minutes or 1 second after and meditate. Hashem, what do you want from me today? If you're doing it with true request, Hashem will show you what He wants from you today. He will show you if He wants from you patience that day. How? You'll walk on the floor and you'll step on some toy of your kid. Ah! Instead of screaming of the kid, patience. Patience. So Hashem will show you that day what He wants from you. If you are very in tune. Does Hashem want me to work on patience today? Then my wife will lash at me. My kids will do something that will drive me nuts. Every person that I meet will drive me to a point that I'm losing my patience. If I'm on top of the game, then I see it coming and I'm like, no, it's not going to work for you. I'm not losing my patience. So every day is a completely different dynamic. Every day, different energy, different time, different energy. Follow everything that I tell you every day, even if you're not focusing on something big. Every day you'll see that you're handling your challenges with great success, which will give you time to handle everything else that you need to handle. And needless to say, make you much more calm, much more happy, much more content, much more satisfied with your own actions, much less judgmental on yourself, and many other good things. So to conclude, like I told you, I think what I'll do is tomorrow I'll do a very short class, 5 minutes, summarizing the physical things that you need to do on Tu B'Shvat. If you want, go now to atzmut.org/Shu B'Shvat. You'll find it all there. Organized in order, one thing after the other, what to do. You don't have to even work too hard. Everything, you click on it, we'll download a PDF with what you need to read. And do it tomorrow, or today or tomorrow, so you can already prepare and saying, the prayer I'll do at night, the seder I'll do in the afternoon. Prepare. Don't come the last time. Last year, I remember, 2 hours before the end of Tu B'Shvat, I got 500 calls. Can I still do the seder? Do I do the... Why are you getting ready now? Tu B'Shvat is in 2 days. Get ready now. Not in 2 days. And call me an hour before sunset. Is pomegranate enough or do I need also figs? Why are you asking me that now? I gave a good explanation. Download the PDF or go to the website, read everything, prepare. Go tomorrow, buy all the food that you need to buy. You need to buy pomegranates and figs and dates and all the 7 species. But take it serious. I guarantee to you, follow everything that I said and apply that on Tu B'Shvat and every day after that. I guarantee to you, you're going to be much more successful in everything that you do. You'll reach to a much higher spiritual level. You'll find that life is not as difficult as you thought it is. You'll understand clearly that the difficulties in your life are designed specifically for you to make you the person you're supposed to be. Any anger and frustration involved in it, you are missing the point. It has to be complete calmness when you deal with your challenge. Then you see what you need to do. There's no anger involved. There's no disappointment involved. There's no pride involved. Now you have the opportunity. Look what an opportunity you have in 2 days, in the 15th day of Shvat, of opening for you all the paths of success in everything that you need to do. And I'm excluding the fact that it doesn't mean your life will get better. It doesn't mean that after Tu B'Shvat you'll win $10 million and you'll be set financially and Prince Charming is going to come on a white BMW and everything will be great and Torah will just be flying everywhere. You'll be sitting and learning Torah. You don't even know how to open the book and you get the Torah like Neil. Life will never be like that. Life is designed to be challenges. Life is designed. Go to the hospital now. Look at a person who's connected to a monitor. How do you know the person is alive? Toot, 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 toot. It goes up, goes down. Goes up, goes down. That's the sign of life. When is the sign of death? When flat line. Nothing moves. So when your life goes up and down, you're living. Be happy. Every breath you take is good. Are you monitoring every breath you do? No, this wasn't a good breath. No, that was a good one. Oh, that was a good one. No. Life is not fair. but life is very good.